center for the Cardinal.
And for more on Parks, we go to the third member of our broadcast, Tamara Brown.
Well, the burning question when I sat down with Cardinal head coach Kevin Hambly was, who's got next? You've got one lone All-American returning to the team this year, and he said Tamara Logan Parks. She's a player who's got big shoes to fill. Last year, it was ACC Setter of the Year for the Cardinal. Cami Minor that was setting for them. This year, it's primarily Logan Parks. He said she's been fantastic, getting better as the weeks go on, and she's not the only player that's going to see a lot of time. He's used to playing just 7 to 8 players throughout the year. This year, he's doing something new. He wants to get these young players in and develop them and see what he has.
Tamara, thanks so much, as Logan Parks led the way last night with 33 assists in the victory over Virginia.
Well, first thing we're going to see here when you're talking about working on your depth, no Elia Rubin today for Stanford. Talked with head coach Kevin Hambly this morning, and it is coach's decision. He's given her a rest today. She is available, but he is, trying to see who else can kind of step in and play a role here.
Rubin, a two-time Pac-12 champion, and last year was named to AVCA All-America first team, and truly senior leadership on the floor and giving the freshmen a chance to work through some of the young hiccups, as Kevin Hambly, a two-time NCAA champion at Stanford.
And 9 years now for Kevin at Stanford. I first met Kevin when he was still the assistant coach at Illinois, working for the great Don Harden up there. My first year with a real grown-up coaching job, we played Illinois. He's done a wonderful job continuing the legacy at Stanford, set by John Dunning and also the legend Don Shaw.
Falls in the footsteps of some of the greats in the sport. Passed over by Woods. Erica Fava gets it under control. And side by side, Stanford with the block. It's Lizzie Andrews and Erica Sayer.
That's a good secondary set there. Two Woods on the right side. It's just you're dealing with a lot of size of Lizzie Andrew. You've got to swing high, you've got to swing hard, you got to know you're looking at a big double block.
Grabbing a couple fingertips is Reese Hazelton.
That's where Virginia Tech's going to have to live this afternoon, is working the edges of the block, working the top of the block. Get a good pass. Andrew has to stay home and respect the quick middle attack. Creates a seam on the left side for Hazelton to exploit. And you have to capitalize on spots just like that where Stanford's not taking a hard swing. Same thing here again for Blashoff.
Just up and over the block, point Hokies. Brianna Holiday leading the charge. Spencer Etzler, the libero for the Cardinal.
That's a great set.
The feed out to Julia Blashoff.
That is a tremendous set there from Coco Kirsch. Harvey comes in, makes the dig. Kirsch just calls everybody off. I've got it. Here's the big bump set. And look at this contact point from Blashoff, just straight over the top.
Peyton Woods on the near side. Sides out. Woods, a transfer from Mississippi State. Posted 5 kills yesterday afternoon. Just hugging that left side is Hazelton.
Interesting right there with Jordan Harvey. That one went down the line. She was tucked way up underneath the block, almost in the 10-foot line there. Turned right to 2 or 3 of her teammates, said, "My bad." I'm wondering if she's supposed to be up underneath the block or not, and just kind of freelancing there a little bit. Be interested to see how they're actually approaching left side defense here.
Back to serve now for the Hokies, Erica Dulesky.
Oh my gosh. That was an 8-second call. All right, so once the referee blows the whistle for service and beckons for serve, the server has 8 seconds to actually serve the ball. I don't think I've ever seen that happen in a college match before. 8 seconds. I've seen people like drop the ball before and have to go chase it, and then run out of time. But I wonder if she just didn't even hear the whistle.
So the point awarded to Stanford as a result.
So Dulesky was ready. Like she had the ball in hand, she was ready. I think she never heard or saw the whistle blow, which is tough because he did beckon for serve.
Coach Marcy Byers really wanted an explanation on it, and understandably so.
It's not much you can do about it. It doesn't really happen, but like theoretically, the first official, the R1, is on the stand in their head counting 1, 2, 3, counting to 8 every time, but it just doesn't really come up. It's sort of like the Giannis Antetokounmpo thing in the free throws in the NBA, how you only have so much time, but it wasn't delay or anything. That was just odd.
Splitting the block on the outer edge is Parks. And Marcy Byers wanting that explanation, but moving forward in her 6th season as at the helm for the Hokies.
Stanford, we have a really good angle where we're sitting right now. I feel like Parks' location on her back set, slide, high back set, 5 balls, been a little bit off so far to begin the match. A lot of kind of emergency tips and throws from middle hitters and right sides. She looks a little tight on her back sets at the moment.
Parks, originally from Overland Park, Kansas. It's up and over. Big swing on the near side by Sarah Malinowski.
Yeah, it takes E-Park Kurt was all over that for Stanford. But Malinowski able to, swing hard into the block, coming from outside the court. Sometimes you do get that lucky bounce, kind of ricochets back out of bounds. They all count. They all count. Doesn't matter how.
Parks with the direct feed to Sayer.
That's a much better set over there to Sayer. She kind of hit that on her way down a little bit too, so the block was on their way down, and it's hard. It is so difficult to block when the hitter, their timing's a little bit off. You don't know when to jump. If you're on your way down, like you're very rarely going to complete a successful block. As a net, yes, it says Dulesky in the net there.
She really had to hustle after that to even keep it up. So Stanford with a 4-point cushion. Coco Kirsch continues to serve. Dulesky with the light feed to Mishler.
That's really tight. Oh, what a cover.
The swing grabs a couple of fingertips by Blashaw.
So that set is really tight to Jordan Harvey. Harvey does everything she can just to get a hand on it and then not go under the net and not net herself. Plays it into the block, and Kirsch is there with a fabulous cover. Sometimes, if you're in a bad spot offensively, just playing the ball softly into the block to recycle play is a good tactic. If you know your team's going to cover and you can't just kind of go willy-nilly. You have to commit to it. Yeah, so watch Harvey here. This set's really tight to Harvey. She just plays it into the block. Kirsch with the cover. And then Blashoff with the kill off the top of the block. That is well executed block coverage. Never shows up in the stat sheet.
Big swing by Woods. Grabs just the tops of the fingertips is Ainsley
So a different look today for Virginia Tech. Randstead is playing right side. Peyton Woods is playing left. It was the opposite way yesterday.
After the adjustment against Cal, a 3-0 finish for the Golden Bears.
I'm a liar. I apologize. They were just there. They were just there for the one service rotation. Randstead's still on the left. Woods is still on the right. But they were just in rotation one and not switching.
Woods rockets that.
It's so row one, rotation one, which Virginia Tech has twice because they run a 6-2. That's when your left side hitters on the right side of the court, your right side hitters on the left side of the court. Some people are good at hitting both, some people are not. So it's usually a problem. It's kind of like the problem-solving rotation for most teams in the world. How do you handle this? How do you deal with it? So having some people who can swing on the left and the right both really helps get out of what is most teams' most difficult rotation.
Just on the outside of that block was Blashoff.
I think that's one of the things that, all these teams that run 6-2s these days with, with two-setter systems, I think that is one of the things you have to consider. It's like, do you want to have to get through, you want 1/3 of your service rotations to be difficult? There's a trade-off there. You have 3 attackers all the time. You might be able to bring more size on the court. Maybe, you don't love one setter and you're trying to figure out who's the best one. But that is a trade-off. Is it, you have to get through a tough rotation twice.
And there's pros and cons to every decision, but especially when you're thinking about the way that your rotation works, what would you favor in a case like that?
I mean, Park's calling her own number right there. I think that you have to, good dig from Fava.
Etzler in the back row.
It's tight again, and Hazelton's in the net there. That was going to be a hitting error. Like, that was at 100% not coming over, and Woods gets way over top of it and nets.
So Stanford is the first to 15. We'll step aside, take a break as the Cardinal find themselves with the lead. The Cardinal with the 15-9 lead inside of Castle Coliseum, and Jake, Parks has been doing a lot of work.
She has. I still think she's trying to find her range on her back sets and her outside sets too. It's a little sloppy here from Stanford. They're up 15-9. There's not going to be a lot of complaints from a winning and losing standpoint, but I know that they're trying to stay locked in here in conference. Well, there's a really, really good slide set there to Lizzie Andrew. Andrew at 6'5", able to go kind of up and around the block there, go cross court for the kill.
Seen that decision a couple of times now.
I mean, Andrew's hitting .421 on the season. I would set her every time I could. Stanford's a big serving team. Stanford misses a lot of serves. They got 151 service errors in 43 sets this year.
In comparison to their opponents, who have only been held to 114, so give or take 30, 40 or so.
I think Kevin Hambley is looking for his team to serve bombs, and so missing serves is okay, because it's also kind of like, hey, look what happens with the ones that go in. And that is, we talk about trade-offs. It's a good swing there from Kurt on the outside. When you talk about trade-offs, that's one that you have to consider. Slide to Andrew. Virginia Tech closes the block there. Kurt just works it off of Holiday's hands. Just swinging high, hard. Like, if you know you're getting a double block, you just got to know you can't plant one. You're going to have to swing high, swing deep.
So Coach Byers calls Virginia Tech's first timeout of the set as they are now down by 8. And Stanford closing in on that 20-point mark.
Well, I don't think Stanford gives you a whole lot of room to breathe. They serve tough. So they miss a lot, but they serve tough, so they put you under pressure there. And they're, with Andrew in, they're pretty big. They're not a huge team by ACC or top 10 program standards this year, but they're talented. They block well. They close blocks. They play good defense behind it. So it's like if you want to get kills, if you want to generate kills, you've got to really execute. Virginia Tech with 8 so far. That's the other thing about Stanford is they are young, and with Rubin out here, your only starter who's an upperclassman is Harvey as a junior. They've got a bunch of freshmen and sophomores out there. Reminds me a little bit of there was a 2016 team under John Dunning. Like it was Inky and the Inkettes, Inky and Joniku, and a bunch of freshmen and sophomores. Winning a national championship. I think there's a lot of growth that has to happen
to get to that point.
If you have those aspirations, and we know Stanford does, that's the standard is playing for national championships, you've got a lot of growth that has to happen with a lot of young players between now and December.
And especially for a team that's already tied for third in the country alongside Kentucky with the AVCA polls. It's an impressive showing for the youth of this team, but in addition to that, the growth to be had for future seasons.
That's an awesome swing there from Peyton Woods, going hard across court. I haven't seen her really hit line from the right side at all, so see how Stanford adjusts to that. But I think that if that's getting her going could be really important for Virginia Tech.
Right in the middle for Harvey.
It's good.
And with more on the Hokies, Tamara Brown.
Coach Marcy was talking to them about not getting beat by the balls coming over the top. You quickly saw that happen right after the media timeout, which is why she called timeout so quickly again to sit and talk to Camilla as well as the rest of the team to keep an eye out for that, because it's not going to keep happening throughout the match.
Words from Byers to the huddle.
Lizzie Andrew there at 6'5", playing middle, taking a swing on kind of the out of system ball in the middle of the court. That's awesome. Have a middle with some guts to take that swing.
First time we've seen Melissa Kawa on the floor for the Cardinal.
Her time is short. She came onto the serving sub, and now she's back off. Sometimes that's your role.
And understanding your role is a really important factor, especially when there's so many players in the same graduating class as you. Everybody's trying to figure out what their job is and how they can contribute to the team.
I've been in that position as a player. We've been in that position as teams where I've been on staff, where it's like, hey, this may not be a big role, but it's an important one. And the other option is don't play a role at all.
The side out by Parks. Hazelton with the ace.
Ooh. Serve right in the middle of the net there from Hazelton. Just when you start getting Stanford under a little bit of pressure there.
Chasing after it is Ranstead. And Stanford, the first to 20. Fava with the pass to Ranstead.
They're bringing Harvey there in for like a back two, kind of like a 7 or whatever you would want to call that. Her ability to hit in different areas of the court, different parts of the net, is really important, I think, for Stanford, because as they try and develop some younger attackers. You know, the fact that Harvey hits the bick really well out of the back row, can hit the D ball, can hit the left, right, you know, like moving her around is important. I think you see it a lot with some of Pitt's early struggles. I mean, struggles are relative, but, you know, the ability to move Olivia Babcock around for them is very important. I think Stanford has to keep thinking, like, if Harvey can move and attack from different parts of the net, that hurts other teams' ability to kind of clamp down on her. You know, she's a great attacker. I mean, if they just want to run her on a high back set the entire time, she'll get hers. But I think if you want to make that jump from being a, you know, 275, 300 hitter to a 400 hitter, you know, on the right side, which I think she can do that. I mean, she's that talented. I think those kind of plays are really important.
And the thing about Harvey, with her being a junior, it helps lead the way for some of those underclassmen.
Yeah, absolutely. Stanford has a, you know, we talked about the 2016 team, but like they have a long history of you know, I'd love to know the last time a Stanford recruiting class was outside the top 5 or top 10. They bring in great players, and they always have, and they bring in a lot of players who are able to contribute right away at a lot of places. You know, and if years like this, where there's, you know, a lot of freshmen, sophomores, a lot of first, second year players, third year players, like, that's okay. You know, they're all right. And then the years where they have a bunch of seniors, look out, you know.
So the pause and play comes to a close. Malinowski calls everybody off.
It's good from Holiday there to keep that from being an ace.
Just to up it over. Holiday can't get to it.
And nobody's there for, I mean, that's got to be Dulesky. Or if it's not Dulesky as a setter, you got to be calling it off. Like, you know, Fava, Ranstead is out there. Like, someone's just got to step in and take it. No one's getting a swing on that ball at that point.
Fava.
Little things like that. I mean, oh, we got a middle set. Excellent from Erica Sayer right there. We talked, you know, we had a conversation about this in another match, but, you know, relaxing the ball handling rules it's been, you know, I think it's obviously there's fewer whistles, but,
yes,
you know, we're seeing more non-setters like middles step in and say, I got, you know, I'll set that ball. And Sayer put up a great one.
A set point number 2 for Stanford, but it's Sayer with the kill. Back to serve now, Erica Fava. Had 10 digs yesterday. And that will cap off with Kurt to make it a 25-16 set number 1 inside of Castle. Stanford up 1-0 in the match as a whole. We'll step aside. See you on the flip. Especially for a pretty packed Hokie weekend.
You get a top 5 team coming to town. I mean, it's always a lot of fun. You know, the ACC got really good over the last 10 years. You know, Pitt, Louisville, you know, Georgia Tech as well has been very strong, and then to add Stanford in, it really just takes it to a whole other level. I mean, ACC does not have a national championship yet, but I feel like it's coming.
And now on the sidelines with Coach Hambly, Tamara Brown.
Right here. All right. Coach, your team took the first set without having All-American Rubin out there. What impressed you the most?
I mean, I thought we were okay serving-wise and we got off the net. I don't like how we're defending right now. I think we could be a little bit more defensive-minded. They hit 286. That's a big number. And if our offense slips a little bit, like, we could be in a little bit of trouble. So I think we got a lot to be better at.
So what do you want to be better at specifically as you go into the set?
With the block, and we're trying to figure out where to defend them a little bit. And we made some adjustments. We'll see if they work.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tamara. And Coach Hambly wanting to be better. And if that's not a coach at heart, I don't know what is.
Yeah, that's a displeased Kevin Hambly right there. So that set's tight too, but Harvey just goes up and gets it. You know, if she high points that at the top of the block, it's very hard to defend. You know, if you let that ball drop a little bit more, now you're in the block, now you're trapped. It's nice to be able to go up that high and just untrap yourself.
Etzler slows it down, and winding it up is Blashoff.
So Virginia Tech's in kind of a under-rotated rotational defense there against Blashoff on the outside. They've got Hazelton playing middle back, but over kind of in the 1-6 seam, kind of halfway between the sideline and middle back. It's a good swing there from Ranstead on the right side, and then they pull Fava way back kind of in deep into the 5-6 seam. Problem is, if your block doesn't close, or if your block doesn't close, that middle of the court is wide open, that middle back is wide open, whereas in a perimeter defense, you're usually gonna have a defender there. The other thing is, if someone goes high off the top, like Blashoff, that last kill on the outside, there's no defender there. Somebody has to go run that down. Like, someone has to know if the block slows it down, I've got to go make that move. Usually, it's going to be your left back because they're rotating, they're moving that direction already. I don't love the under rotation for the middle back, though. You end up behind the block a lot. We'll see how that progresses for Virginia Tech if they make any adjustment.
Bounces up and over, and it's an ace for Mishler. And for more info, we head to Tamara Brown. So Mishler, that marks her 12th ace of the season. Trading service errors back and forth.
So with what Kevin Hambley was talking about with Tamara before the set, look for Stanford's defensive execution, trying to ramp that up. Where are we setting the block? Where are we playing around the block? What moves are we supposed to make? I think Stanford's playing hard. I think Virginia Tech's playing hard. Playing hard and executing are two different things. So, look for, you can block to take up area, or you can block to go score points. I've always been a big fan, I think Hambley as well, of let's go block to score points. And then we can play good defense around that. It's good execution right there. That first touch by Blashoff is really solid. That's not a double. Wow, that's really creative ball handling.
And being better in some of those defensive stops comes with focusing on the small details and
sure
focusing on that with his team.
Sayer just into the net here. I think especially Malinowski's got stuck over on the left side blocking left. She never plays on the outside for Virginia Tech, so you really want to try and attack them. Speaking of attack, there's Logan Parks with the dump. Someone has to be assigned to that. You've got three blockers bunched. Watch how all three blockers are bunched here for Virginia Tech, and nobody's got the center. Like, that can't happen. Also, I would worry about Ranstead getting so sucked in on the left side, so pinched in on the bunch block, because they're running Sayer on that slide all day over top. It's almost like they're expecting, possibly trying to account for Harvey coming up the middle.
Free ball for the Hokies. Holiday wins it.
See Jordan Harvey trying to jump in there and help out, kind of dive in from the right side to help on the 31. Doesn't quite get it, doesn't quite execute.
Fava, one of 5 transfers for the Hokies this season.
A nice run from Stanford there. We talked a lot about rotation 1 for Virginia Tech. That's Stanford's rotation 1. The way they get out of that, they stack everybody on the left side of the court. They're running Sayer on a slide. Harvey looks like she's hitting like a 2-ball. That ended up being like a back 2 just because where the pass was. And then Kurt on the left.
big kill on the outer edge for the Hokies.
I think Sarah Malinowski needs to be a bigger part of the offense there for Virginia Tech. She's physical. She's, she's one of the players on the roster who could bring that physical presence against a more physical Stanford team. She swings well over there. I think that she's a little bit underutilized on offense.
Matches her total of kills from yesterday this afternoon with 3.
What a Harvey just digging that thing, just absolutely tearing that thing out of the block to keep the play alive. That set was almost over the net.
Up and over for Woods. Goes long.
And Virginia Tech wants a touch there. There's definitely no block touch. They're looking for, I think was it Kirsch or was it Etzler trying to make that dig and just missed on a ball that was out of bounds. But the play before, the possession before with that back set was over the net. Harvey goes up there and just plays it back to her own team off the block. Crazy athletic and creative play. Got to take a swing. That's not going to go down.
Harvey matches the energy. Woods winds up. That time she's got hands.
Yeah, Virginia Tech working around the edges of the block, working around the edges of the defense. Stanford is not given a whole lot of respect to Virginia Tech's left side's attacking line. So, Parks there is pulled up underneath the block, and that line is open if you've got the ability to execute. If Virginia Tech keeps exploiting that opening down the line, look for Stanford to either move the block or have their right back start playing defense down the line. Another tight set.
Woods keeps it up. On the opposite side, it's Hazelton. Hazelton now has 4 kills and leads the team. Ranstead serves. It's an ace.
Anna Pringle coming in here for Kirsch after Kirsch just got aced. She's been struggling a little bit in serve receive. That's usually, this is where not having Elia Rubin in the match, she's a big time receiver for them. One of the better serve receivers in the country. Super experienced. So this is one of those things where, hey, our star is not in. It's just a good run. That's what happens off good passing. You can run your 6'5" middle on a quick set and they get a kill. It's really nice. But I think this is an area where Stanford is having to do some problem solving without Rubin in the match. Tight.
Light tap against the net for Blashoff.
Man, someone's going to get hurt. That's at least the 7th or 8th set from Logan Parks. It's like on top of the tape.
Harvey serves.
What I mean is, like, with the tight sets, you have an attacker flying in. You have a blocker or 2 blockers who are all there occupying the same space. You are allowed to land on the line. You're allowed to step on the line. You're actually allowed to be over the line as long as part of your foot is above the line. It's called shadowing. So there's a lot of action that happens right on that center line. Going across the line is illegal. It's a point for the other team, but it becomes like a player safety issue. Having this constant action where 2 or 3 people jumping and landing all in the same 6 square foot area. So you gotta get, if you're Logan Parks, you gotta bring your hitters off the net. You're looking for depends on what gym you're in, what team you're playing for, but it's somewhere between 3 to 4 feet off the net. 2 to 4 feet is really good. But right now, everything for a lot of the sets from Logan Parks are almost in the plane of the net, and hitters are having to make some emergency plays.
Currently tied with the Virginia Tech point, trading leads back and forth now. rocket of a swing by Andrew on the outside. And for more on the Stanford Cardinal, we go to the third member of our broadcast, Tamara Brown.
Claire, you and Jake have been talking a lot about the rotational defense that the Hokies are running. And when I asked Coach Kevin Hambley what he saw when scouting them, he was like, Virginia Tech shows us some unique things that we have never seen before, and that's going to prepare us down the road. And one of those things was the rotational defense, and he wanted to see how his team responded to it. Obviously, in the interview between the sets, he wasn't too happy with the way they were playing and how well Virginia Tech was hitting, so that's something to keep an eye on throughout the match.
Ainsley Ranstead there with the pipe attack for Virginia Tech, just finds the line in the corner.
Ranstead, a transfer from SIUE. And in as the serve specialist is Ivy Cooper for the Hokies.
Parks able to go up there and joust on a tight pass, really an overpass right there. It's good having a center with some size and physicality who can go win that battle with a blocker.
Hustling after it is Stileski. That's Harvey on the near side, goes long. Virginia Tech still with 0 attacking errors as of this current set.
See if Virginia Tech can be the team to the media timeout here. We'll get a stoppage at 15. It's 14-13 at the moment.
Fava with the serve.
Oh, good touch. As you play that really high, give the team a chance to reset on defense.
It's Kurt up and over the block. Parks back to Kurt. She's got it.
That's what you get when you have that high attack point like Kurt does. Is she's hitting the top of the block, and that generates a lot of like deep balls in the block of slowing down, but you have to go pursue. You know, one adjustment you can make. I think the block's doing a very good job in those situations. The one thing you can do is you can play a middle back or a left back even deeper and let them kind of keep everything in front, almost play center field. That's another tight set thrown down there by Blashoff.
And that will be the first to 15. Stanford with a thread of a lead heading into the media timeout. Thanks, Tamara. What an impressive internship experience for Malinowski.
It's encouraging to hear. One, it's very difficult. Oh, great up by Fava there. It's going to be outside the antenna and out of bounds. It is, you know, it's challenging. Student athlete life is hard anyway. Doing it as an engineering student is really tough at a place like Virginia Tech. Like it's, you know, it's hard just because the scheduling is difficult, and you know, to make it work in practice and all that kind of stuff is a real challenge. It's funny, I ran into Sarah actually out around Blacksburg a few weeks ago, and she had told me about the Boeing thing, which was awesome. They do a lot of work with the university in general. So having that job signed, sealed, delivered going into your last year of college is nice. It's a good feeling.
Especially when you're building relationships at a company such as Boeing. It's hard to even get an internship at a place such as that, and on top of that, securing the job and getting to play a little more freely your last season's worth of volleyball.
Absolutely. So we got Marcy Byers timeout here. It's like you're kind of in an interesting spot at Virginia Tech here. Okay, you can't stop Stanford. Stanford's hitting 420 right now, but you yourself, Virginia Tech, you're hitting 300 against the number 3 team in the country. That's good. So how do you start to generate more points and earn more points to you know, you were up 14-13. That's 4 points in a row for Stanford. You got to get a side out here, and then once you get the serve back, how do we key in on what's a really good rotation for Stanford coming back with Sayer and Harvey and Blashoff? So you've got to set your block, you got to set your defense, and say, can we start earning some points? Because if you just keep playing with Stanford, you can't be happy with that. Because you're down 3, you're going to lose. You've got to find a way to get back on top and ladder your way back into the match. Starting off with an opponent mid-serve is a great way to start that.
Especially when statistically Stanford has 29 kills in comparison to the 19, so that 10 kill difference really makes a big difference in the grand scheme of things.
And even in this set, it's 14 kills for Stanford in this set, hitting 480 versus Virginia Tech hitting 318 with only 8. So you're getting a couple aces in there for Virginia Tech, some miscues as well.
Harvey splits the block.
It's funny because you look at the numbers in this match. Both teams are hitting a high hitting percentage, making very few. We have a total of 9 hitting errors between the two teams in almost more than 1.5 sets. But I would not call this clean volleyball at all. Like, this has been pretty sloppy, just not statistically sloppy.
That's Andrew in the middle.
And that's just a bump set in the middle of the court. And again, Andrew did it in the first set on a high ball, just kind of a third contact out of system. She jumped and took a swing. They're doing that again. It's nice to have a middle blocker who's got that kind of confidence.
Slowing things down is Brandalise, and winding right back up is Mishler.
Those are the areas where Virginia Tech has to capitalize. They get a free ball back, run middle, run quick middle. See if you can get isolated against Andrew in the middle. It's tough because she's a good blocker and she's got a lot of size. But I'd rather try and move around and get one-on-one rather than go outside and give Andrew a chance to impact the match as a second blocker.
Instead of going full force, Andrew just lightly pushes it over.
She didn't have much of a choice there. I don't think it was particularly good connection with Parks. Yeah, so she looks a little early. That set's a little high. It could be kind of both. It can be on both people there. That setter middle connection on a quick set. Depending on how fast you're trying to run. If you're running that, that set in the middle, serve in the middle of the net there. If you're trying to run kind of a zero tempo, like as quick as you possibly can go, the middle's just supposed to jump when they're supposed to jump, and the setter feeds it to them. You start slowing it down a little bit, it becomes at the same time easier to run, but harder to connect.
Parks with the feed to Andrew.
Easier to run in the sense of you can run quick middle in more situations. Zero tempo, it's much more dependent on a quality pass.
And I think you used the most perfect word to describe what Stanford's trying to figure out, and that is tempo right now. Blashoff with the serve.
That's going to be out.
Out into the near side.
Used to be able to go get that. Used to be able to cross the center line outside the standards, outside the poles, and bring it back. And you still can in literally every other country in the world in an international professional competition. But we put a stop to that, which I don't love. I think it's a great play if someone can go get it over here and bring it back. But it's a player safety thing.
Took the next question out of my mouth. Was it a decision based off of player safety?
Yeah, I mean, it was also like why you can't run up into the stands to get a ball, which I always never liked as a player, and then I started coaching and understood. It's another misconnection there on between Parks and Andrew.
So Peyton Woods steps back to serve, and more on her, Tamara Brown.
When talking to Kevin Hambley before this match about who they were watching when they were scouting the Hokies, he quickly said, number 31, number 31. Peyton Woods, she's their go-to player. She plays on the right side, but she hits left. We do a lot of different things matching her up, so we're going to hone in on her.
That's a big serve from Woods, just called just out. She is adamant that ball was in, asking Marcy Byers to challenge, and I think Marcy's having a conversation with the down official, which if this is good officiating, he's telling her what he saw before she goes and wastes a challenge. That's him telling Marcy, like, nah, I had it out too. Like, I saw it. So it's okay. I would want my players to passionately advocate for that.
Up and over the block is Holiday. But having the intensity from a server such as Woods is what you're looking for in leadership, at least.
That was a big serve, too. It was a great serve. The serve was out by like 6 inches. It was a great serve, though. I think you need to bring, that level of execution from the service line if you're Virginia Tech. I think you need to do that every day, no matter who you are as a team and who you're playing. But here in this match, again, Stanford's hitting 435 and 500 in set 2. You've got to get them out of system. You've got to do something. And plus, I think that they're struggling to find a setter-hitter connection. Again, that's a little bit tougher if passes off the net. It's hard for Sayer to get around Parks.
Dive by Woods. Parks with the set to Kurt.
Kurt's double block there, but she swings high, goes up high off the block. Sometimes you're going to get blocked back on your side of the court. You go low at the tape into the block, into forearms and elbows. That's when you get stuff straight down. You swing high, you're going to get some bad bounces and you're going to get some good bounces.
Now a 3-point difference between either of these two teams has Virginia Tech called their second and final timeout. And if you're Coach Byers, what's the message inside of the huddle, considering they've been hitting pretty efficiently?
Side out. You got to side out. The only thing that matters right now is you're setting a play. You're going to say, we're going to run this. Virginia Tech keeps things pretty simple. A lot of kind of what we would call like 4-1-5, kind of a base offense. So you might move your middles onto a 31 on a good pass. I actually like that in general here because if you're committed to running a 31 anyway, like that's going to open up more options on a medium pass. But I'm setting a play. I'm telling our setter, this is the first option, whoever that is. So you're going to try and get your best offensive look and then make sure that your team knows what Stanford's coming back with after you side out.
And Virginia Tech currently hitting at an overall 310. It's in contribution to players such as Holiday.
Yeah, a lot of new faces attacking for Virginia Tech. The only people on the roster with a lot of offensive experience are Malinowski and Jordan Hallman. Hallman hasn't been starting. So here's this rotation where actually with the front row setter here with Brandalise. Scrap the 6-2. Don't know if they're out of substitutions or not. Look for kind of a gap go here. 31 to Holiday with Rancid over the top and Woods up the middle on the pick. Now they're going to spread it. Got to finish that.
Holiday wins the joust.
So there they actually left they left Holiday to hit a high ball on the right. So they're just going to go 4-5s of split offense. That's a really, really good angle there from Ranstead. Etzer does a good job getting into the angle. Cannot keep it on their side of the net, though, and Holiday's able to finish it. Got to go for a big serve here for Fava.
Parks with the set to Kurt. Just gets past Cooper.
Must take advantage of times that the other team does not take a full swing. If you, doesn't matter what level, what gym you're in, you want teams tipping and rolling against you. It's better than them taking full swings.
Set point number 2 for the Cardinals. Light tap by Ranstead. Woods grabs the hands. And this Hokie team keeps clawing back.
Anna Pringle coming back in the match. For Kurt in the back row, I'd go right at Pringle here. Because your alternatives are a libero or your usual starting left side with Blashoff.
It's Sayer who takes up set number 2, 25-22. Stanford up 2-0 in the match for this Sunday matinee matchup. The number 3 team with the lead here inside of Castle. Anything is certainly possible if you set your mind to it, as Stanford has the 2-0 lead, but Virginia Tech hung tight. Claire Geary alongside Jake Lawrence with you on the call, and so far Virginia Tech put up a pretty tough set too.
It is, yeah, they did, and statistically they're right here in the match. It's been a kind of a strange 2 sets though. Stanford hitting 441, and they look kind of discombobulated offensively, but still hitting over 400. Virginia Tech hitting 317. We talked with Kevin, right after first set, said, we need to dial in our defense. I'm not happy with how our defense is performing. And then Virginia Tech goes from hitting 286 in set 1, they hit 343 in set 2. So that is going the wrong direction for the Cardinal right now, even though they're up 2-0. I don't think that they're particularly pleased with their performance. On the Virginia Tech side, how do you get a lead? Like, all those numbers are nice, those numbers are good, but if you can't translate them into first to 25, doesn't mean a whole lot.
And players who have been making the difference for Stanford include those such as Blashoff.
Yeah, Blashoff has had a very nice match. You know, she swings so high and so deep. You know, just very, I would call it very professional. Not trying to plant the ball. She's going to take what's there. Again, doesn't matter how, it matters how many. And she's been very efficient from the outside so far.
And Lizzie Andrew has also been making a difference as well.
She has been, you know, she has struggled to connect with Parks in a lot of situations, but look at the swing like that, out of system, you know, able to make a play, and then when she gets a good set in system, she's been very efficient. I mean, Andrew with 11 kills leads the match and hitting 588.
What stands out the most in that stat comparison is the 441 to 317 of just the effectiveness that Stanford has been able to output.
I don't think Stanford's playing very well, and they're hitting 400 plus. It's a nice thing to be able to do. I've never been part of a team that could do that. That could hit a bad 440.
Strong start for the Hokies with that ace from Brandelis. Woods with a cross-court swing.
Really nice take from Metzler.
Just targeting the back left corner is Blashoff.
And Blashoff, I mean, again, not flashy, it's efficient. I mean, she hits a nice heavy ball, but she's, every single time she makes contact high. She's a good leaper, but she just, from a technical perspective, she's always hitting from her highest points. Makes it really hard to block her.
Woods tools the block.
You know, good job from Virginia Tech there. That ball's in the tape, off the serve, popped up, turns it into an automatic out-of-system situation. Woods able to get the kill through the block, knowing she's got the big double out there.
Ainsley Ranstead to serve.
I think Virginia Tech has served well today. I think that's something that's really important to point out.
That bounces around in front of the net for Mishler, but yesterday against the Who's, Stanford did drop that one set in the middle on the road too, so still trying to build through some of those early season woes.
You know, they've been tested. They've played some big matches, but, you know, this is the first time they've made this road trip. You know, this Charlottesville-Blacksburg road trip. It's not the easiest part of the country to get to from the Bay Area, so, you know, new gyms, new buildings. They played at the big arena yesterday at UVA. I guess Memorial Gym is under renovation, but Castle is a weird place to play. You know, everybody says it when they come here. So I think, you know, road conference wins are really valuable, and so you've kind of figure out how to, if you're not playing the way you want to, you know, how do you use that as a platform for getting better?
Especially because this is the first road trip that the Cardinal have taken since they headed out to Missouri back in early September.
They take advantage of school being on the quarter system at Stanford. It's a good run. It's inside. Andrew can't get on top of it. Whew.
Blashoff just blasts it.
Yeah, Stanford takes advantage of being on the quarter systems. They don't start school until, you know, like the third week of September or whatever it is. So they've got a lot of freedom to go places and play big matches, and without having to miss class.
And especially when you just start that class schedule around this time it buys a lot of time to get settled into the routine of the fall schedule.
Oh, yeah.
In comparison to where Virginia Tech is midway through the semester, in the first third of it at least, but they're well into classes. Parks to Andrews.
Andrews just swinging high and deep on that slide, deep corner. Unless you're going to put a defender right there, that's a kill. It's just a kill. You know, you have to move on. Sometimes the other team's going to do good things.
Coco Kirsch back to serve. That now marks the 7th service error.
So Reese Hazleton and Erica Fava, they gave each other a look right there because I think the other person, they each thought the other person was taking that ball. And so nobody was going to get it, and it ends up just barely out of bounds. And Erica Fava gave her a look of, we really avoided one there.
Lucky break sometimes is all that it takes.
Just trading service errors at this point. You know, that's 7 service errors for either team, for each team. Sorry. Numbers aren't bad actually. 3 aces, 7 errors for Stanford, 4 and 6 respectively for Virginia Tech.
And Virginia Tech, one of their strong suits is serving as their second in the conference.
Some of that is based on competition, like who you've played. Like you know, you start seeing once you get into ACC season when everyone's playing the same team, same level of team.
Yes.
I think that's a ball that Blashov's got to dig there. I think she knows it. It's not a shock to her. That's a really nice set.
Kisses the line for Harvey.
That is a tremendous set by Logan Parks. Pass is tight. She goes up one hand. Here's the 2-ball. That's a really high 2-ball set too. But Jordan Harvey, she goes up and gets it. See, that'll get Parks going a little bit right there, making a play like that.
Free ball for the Cardinal. Pumped over by Sayer.
It's through the block. That's through the block and down on Stanford's side. Actually, technically underneath the net from Stanford's side.
Randstead on the read with the swing.
So a little bit of an adjustment here for the Hokies. They ran Fava in middle back the last play instead of traditionally in left back. Now, Cooper's going to play middle back now, okay. Ivy Cooper's in the right spot on that swing. Tight on the back set again.
Parks to Blashoff.
Blashoff finds a hole in the block. Mishler doesn't close, leaves about a foot and a half gap right there. Blashoff's got the hang time and the vision to be able to see that and exploit that. Got to fight to get there and get something to close the blocks. That's off the top of the block right there. Line judge is all over it. Peyton Woods with the kill. But you got as a middle blocker, you have to try and get close. And I think traditionally the old school mentality was if you can't get there, make a good block but leave a hole and we can fill the hole. I think there's a school of thought that says get there. Get there even if it's not a perfect, perfect technique. Try and fill that hole and get a positive touch. See if you can get that over the wow. It's a really nice play from Blashoff and Parks.
Woods with the big swing.
Can't let your setter take that ball.
Right back at it. Blasted past Setzler.
That worked out well for Virginia Tech, but Brand at least took that free ball. It's the last person you want passing a free ball. Fava comes up with the good set. Peyton Woods, hard cross court inside the block, beats Etzler. Hokies up 2 here.
And for more on Ainsley Randstead, we go to Tamara Brown.
Guys, in back-to-back huddles yesterday, Virginia Tech head coach Marcy Byers talked to Ansley Ranstead multiple times about how she was going to be double blocked every time, and she had to find a way to get over the block. You see she's doing better with that and responding well.
That's a monster swing from Julia Blashoff cross court.
Overpass, just lightly tapped over for Andrew.
Very nice redirect from Lizzie Andrew. Helps when you're long, you know, but she took that to a place where nobody on Virginia Tech could dig that. Before, just a misconnection in the middle there. Brandon Lees couldn't find Mishler on the 31. It's a long connection. You really got to jam that through when you're backed up. So that's one of the, as a passer, as a receiver, you got to make sure the one place, that the worst place to miss the pass is forcing your center to have to move backwards, like towards the offensive right side of the court, because it screws up their tempo with the middles, it screws up their sets to the outside, and then it bunches blockers around the right side. You know, passes behind the center are really death to an offense.
And setting being such a portion of tempo play really decides a lot of things. Etzler with the feed to Blashoff. Blashoff again. Keeps it inside. And it's called the other way.
Yeah, line judge called it in. First official overruled it pretty quick. That ball was out. It's actually, I can't see that through the ref stand. That bump set, that secondary set was super, super inside. Blashoff just tries to plant one and misses wide.
Blashoff kisses the back row this time and ties her career high.
That's
with 14 kills.
That's just over. That's just straight over the block. You can't, I mean, there's not a ton you can do there.
Woods on the near side, kisses line.
Now Harvey's sucked in on playing right back there. She's almost on, you know, she's almost on the VT logo in right back, kind of the point of the tee. And that's a little, I think that's a little shallow against a good swing, you know, because you can't make that move back to the sideline on a ball hit past you. You usually want to try in a perimeter defense, keep things in front, or at least know that if the ball gets hit past you, a lot of those are in, and you've got to make a move.
And it's the making the moves that Stanford has been creative with some of their decision making.
For sure.
Kirsch serves. Holiday hammers it down.
Brianna Holiday is having herself a day here. 8 kills, no errors, hitting 800.
Currently second in the ACC for hit percentage, 47th in NCAA Division I.
Sets inside, that slide to Sayer is inside. Holiday gets there, doesn't get across the net, gets tooled. Ball comes down between her and the net. You don't have to be a big blocker, you need to be a good one.
Malinowski with the light tap. Splitting the block is Kurtz, and Stanford is the first to 15. Just like midway through the second frame, Stanford hangs on by 1, heading into the media timeout. Stanford up by 1, but Virginia Tech hitting at a 362 clip.
It's been a really low error and very efficient day for Virginia Tech. They're getting some good bounces, but they're taking some really smart, clean swings. I don't think Stanford's been very dialed in offensively, or say defensively. Virginia Tech is limiting their own errors in a way that I think I haven't seen from them this season. You know, currently they have 4 hitting errors. Their season low for a match is 10. So this is a big, big improvement. The problem is they can't stop Stanford. Stanford has 48 kills and hitting 449. So it's been kind of an odd matchup.
As Parks restarts play with an ace.
This part where you got to hold, if you're Virginia Tech, you got to hold on to the rope. Like, you know, have to be dialed in serve receive. You know, everything here from 16-14 out is desperation time. Try and keep producing.
And that's part of Hambley's strategy, at least with the last set. And this one is forcing the team to get to the media timeout, taking the breather, and then responding after with back-to-back points.
Yeah, big swing here from Erica Sayer. Kind of that slow one ball, kind of 1.5, gives her an opportunity to turn it left or turn it right. Just leaving an opening. Stanford just leaving an opening for Virginia Tech.
That marks the end of a 4-0 scoring run for the Cardinal.
What you don't want to do if you're Stanford is you don't want to, well, I mean, I'd say let Virginia Tech get into a rhythm. Virginia Tech is performing really well offensively today. But you leave an opening to drop a set. Now you're in set 4 and anything can happen from there.
Malinowski on the near side. Parks to Harvey.
Oh, I don't know if that was going to be out or not, but Fava tried to play it and made contact. Harvey just gets way up on top of that kind of that power throw. It's not a carry. It's close. It's close to a carry, but you know that ability to get up on top of it, just dunk it straight down.
What was once a 1-point lead is now turned into 3, forcing Coach Byers to call her first timeout of the set. And for the Hokies, it's a similar situation as to how set number 2 went, where it was pretty even through the first 15 and then got away a little bit after the break.
Yeah. So you side out for Virginia Tech. Set up a play, side out, 18-16. Must generate points on your serve. You do that with serving, blocking, defense. And if you can get back on the service line and say, okay, like we need, you know, go back there, we need an ace. Can we get an ace? Can we get a block for point? You know, Virginia, this is actually kind of wild. There are each team at 18-15 in the third set, the two teams have combined for 2 blocks for point. That's remarkable. Yeah. That you know, there have been, each team has 1 block for point in this match. Part of the reason why the offensive numbers are so gaudy here. So can you be that team that finds a block for point? Because nobody's done it. You know, nobody's done it. Can you get an ace? Can you get a block? Can we dig a ball and get a transition kill? You know, this is how you start to come back from down 2. You know, you don't have to get it all at once. You know, you side out, you're down 2, see if we can go back there and get another one, and then, you know, before Stanford sides out, makes it 19-17, then we go back, go 2 for 1 again. So first priority here, the side out. I'd like to see them get the ball to Malinowski on the right side if possible. Got the pass for it.
Light touch up and over by Ranstad. Third time. Goes away side on Etzler. And for more on the conversations inside of the huddles, we go to Tamara Brown.
Well, Jake, you said if the Hokies get a side out here, they'll be in great shape. Well, that's exactly what head coach Marcy Byers said to her team in that timeout just now. She said, get a side out, get a good pass. We've been doing a great job getting hits out of the system, so let's get a side out here. And that's exactly what you just said, Jake.
Like,
not my first rodeo. Now Virginia Tech transition opportunity right here off a bad Stanford pass. Whoa.
And like you mentioned, the blocks, there we see a monster one by Harvey.
Yeah, Harvey just took, she showed something and then like showed an opening and then took it away. Watch her just dive in, see how far she's reaching back into the court, back into that seam. It looks like there's a hole, and then there's not a hole. It's, you know, you need your big players to make big plays. And that's one from Harvey.
Flash off on the near side.
Blocked did a good job there slowing that one down.
Parks to Harvey. Etzler with the pass.
Tight.
Blashoff tools it.
So Blashoff went for hands there, hit it out of bounds. One line judge had it out. Up ref, first referee, it's right in front of him. He called the touch. That set was super tight. That bump set was super tight for Blashoff to get to. Smart swing. Just trying to tool block. Again, tight man.
Woods on the edge. Comes away with the point.
And Blashoff, like, because she jumps so well, she's so high and she hits such a high contact point, they are happy to just chuck these out of system sets up there and let her go get it. You know, let her again work around the edge of the block in situations where she has a physical advantage to go over or around the block hard, or just swing for hands. It's a nice, you know, it's nice to have that person who can kind of take out the trash. It's got to go.
Parks to Blashoff.
Good dig from Ranstead.
Ranstead puts it over.
Watch
Free
middle
ball.
attack here. That set was behind Andrew and never went. See, Virginia Tech had a couple opportunities there in transition. The dig on the quick set to Blashoff, and then that kind of, again, misconnection to Andrew there in the middle, getting some transition opportunities. And that's a hit. It's been a finishing that with a hitting error. There hasn't been a whole lot of that from Virginia Tech, really from either team today.
Harvey serves. Hazleton with the swing.
Yeah. Through the block again. So you've got this rotation 4 here for Stanford. So that block is Parks and Andrew. You want to try and work Parks. She's got good size, she's a good blocker, but you go after the setter rather than try and challenge the 6'5" middle.
Blashoff with the roll shot into the back row.
So that's that kind of under-rotated rotational defense right there. Ranstead's there. That's a roll shot to the line. You've got to be able to come off that kind of that 1-6 seam there and run that down. I mean, that's why you're there. Again, you would love to have Stanford hitting roll shots rather than taking full swings.
On the near side is Peyton Woods, but Julia Blashoff with 16 kills marks her career high.
It's the numbers and it's the efficiency. 30 swings, 16 kills, hitting 467, only 2 hitting errors today.
Numbers don't lie, especially in the sport of volleyball. Overpass.
That's the first hard swing Andrew's taking on the slide that Tech's dug. Oh my gosh, how did that go over? Huh.
Another big swing by Kurt.
It's a good scramble from the Hokies getting that. I don't know how they've got that ball over the net.
And also not going underneath the net, because when you're that close and that tight, you're really dancing with a net fraction.
Virginia Tech still sitting on a timeout here and trying to call it. Yeah, there you go. Marcy Byers gets the timeout in before beckoning for serve, so 23-19.
Second and final timeout for Virginia Tech as Stanford tries to close on in on the 3-and-out sweep. And for Virginia Tech, they continue to host at home as the Orange make their way to Blacksburg next week, and then Sunday host Boston College, then hit at the road for number 6 Louisville.
That Louisville-Notre Dame trip's going to be tough. Louisville's having a year again.
Louisville, one of the 6 teams named in the ABCA polls this season. And as for Stanford, they'll head back out west, host Notre Dame and Louisville, and then hit back to the road for the East Coast trip.
Not a whole lot of bumps in there for Stanford, other than I think that Louisville match next Sunday is going to be a barn burner.
That one being on ESPN, Maine. Certainly a solid matchup to watch.
I think I think it's a 3-team race in the ACC between Pitt, Louisville, and Stanford. And it's not a shocker. Those are also 3 teams that could be in the Final Four, and 3 teams that have aspirations of winning a national championship this year.
Stanford was picked third in the ACC preseason poll with 2 first-place votes at least.
Sets inside.
Woods to Hazelton, keeps it in.
And Harvey's kind of, again, she's in no man's land. You know, she's not all the way up underneath the block looking for tip. She's not all the way down the line looking for a hard swing. So she's a little bit, you know, handcuffed there when that shot comes down. The kind of that cross body, they call it a D1. You know, that kind of cross body swing comes from Hazelton.
Cooper in as the serve specialist.
Nice pass. Ooh.
Just a hammer down by Sayer.
Out.
Goes out.
Yeah, we're getting an immediate challenge from Kevin Hambley here, looking for ball in and out. That is speaking from experience, for my hot minute being a college volleyball official, that is not the easiest
Stanford
ball.
is calling, or is challenging that the ball is in.
It's gonna be tough for the line judge because they're blocked by the libero, by the left back.
Mm-hmm. And when you're an official looking things over to make the decision, first of all, it has to be clear and concise, but second, you're looking at every detail.
Okay, so that ball looks out, but my question is also, did that hit Fava in the foot? Oh my gosh. What a weird call. All right, that ball looks out to me. The question is, did it hit Fava in the foot? Yes.
So close.
It's okay. It's clearly out.
After
but
review, the call will be reversed. The ball was in.
it's interesting. I don't. I mean, that was very quick. So obviously they had an angle where it was very clear.
Yeah.
Either way, though, I think that's probably Stanford's point. Because it looked like it hit Fava while she's standing out of bounds. That'd be, you know, just a touch. And
Yeah. So, with the point being overturned, this makes it match point for Stanford. Coach Byers gets her explanation. And Parks to serve. Light tap up and over the block by Holiday. Randstad tries at it. On the tape line, grabs the fingertips, and Kurt caps off the match with a 25-20 victory over the Hokies.
I think very efficient performance from both teams. I think Virginia Tech has to be happy on, you know, with an improved offensive performance from yesterday, especially against a talented opponent. Stanford, I think, is going to have a lot they're going to want to look at from the little things and the details, because some of parts of that performance are probably not up to their standard defensively for sure. So it'll be, you know, opening weekend of the ACC season. A lot of time for both teams left to go.
Lots of time on the schedule for the regular season. For Tamara Brown, Jake Lawrence, I'm Claire Geary saying so long from Castle Coliseum as the Stanford Cardinal take it clean 3 and out over the Virginia Tech Hokies.